Hi, I want to share with you an exciting new way of accessing SAP data from within the familiar Excel environment that was developed right here in Australia and is real-time, not reliant on BW, fully secure and incredibly flexible and easy to use. Let's take for example the job of a financial accountant wanting to produce a detailed set of management reports. What they'll be able to do is within Excel, click on our add-ins tab where they'll be able to find access to a range of custom functions for accessing SAP data. For example, if we want to get a balance out of the general ledger with the account balance icon, by supplying the necessary parameters to get a balance for a GL account out of SAP, such as the year, the period, whether we're talking about an actual or a budget number, and in the case of budget, which version of the budget, the company code of course, and be able to select individual GL accounts off a list of the SAP accounts that make up this balance. We could either select these manually like this, including building ranges on the fly and perhaps excluding certain accounts, or ideally, if the account group has already been set up within the SAP system, to be able to go and select that account group. In this case I'm looking for service costs, add that, and simply clicking OK and OK. The add-in is making a live call to the SAP ECC system and returning the balance for that account. Now, what's good about Excel functions, and you'll see that formula that wizard has just generated a formula here, is we can leave it populated with hard-coded values, or ideally we replace the parameters with reference to existing fields on the screen, as I've done here. So fiscal year, for example, will reference C12, which is the top of my column. The period might reference the period in the top of the screen over here, etc. The good news about doing that is if I need to copy that formula down to other cells, I use the functionality all finance users are familiar with to copy and paste that formula into my target cells. SAP or our add-in is going to make the call to SAP and bring back live information into our spreadsheet. If we need to pick up additional cost element groups, there's a range of functions to assist with building these reports, such as our generate a list of values function, where we can say, yes, we're looking for a GL account group, for example, and then be able to say, look, I think one of our important cost categories is maintenance costs. Select that off the list, say OK, and immediately we refresh that account group. The report is refreshing behind the scenes. The great thing for accountants is this reporting is always real time, so during those critical days and hours at month end, they can keep refreshing this report by simply clicking the refresh sheet section, and that'll do a full refresh of all the values on the spreadsheet, ensuring that we're not maintaining islands of information. All the data that's being represented on the report is live out of SAP, and if there are any queries, the end user can simply double click on the account balance. It'll bring back a list of line items, and double clicking on any individual transaction will open the supporting document. So a really natural and intuitive way for finance users to access SAP functionality in a very familiar fashion. At the demand of customers, we've started to extend this functionality now to other functional areas, such as sales. So for example, a sales manager or general manager could go directly into their SAP, into the Excel system, click on their Get Balance wizard, and select sales orders, for example, to get one of a number of outputs, either the sales value, the sales quantity, cost of sales, or a margin. So with value, for example, for a period 2004-01, sales organization, in this case 1000. Now we support 14 different dimensions in sales, including individual customer and product. In this case I'll just select all sales for distribution channel 10 and say OK, and as you see, a familiar formula has been generated requesting the sales value for 2004-01 for organizational channel 1000, distribution channel 10, and it's brought back a value into my Excel spreadsheet. If I want a further analysis of that, I can either build a structured report as we've done in finance and identified my relevant dimensions, Or I can use the table function to say get sales table, the same period, 2004-01, and then I can select how I want to represent my rows and columns. So I might want to look at this, for example, by customer group, down in the rows, and in my columns I might want to analyze it by material group. Select those, go through, and I can still filter for particular sales offices or divisions or whatever the case may be. I'll get the same number by selecting it for distribution channel. Click OK. Now Excel is making a bigger call on SAP and bringing back a detailed analysis of those two dimensions into a pivot table for further analysis. So this is not a solution that competes with BW, but it just provides end users with a simple tool set to generate the information analyses that they require as they need it. The great thing about it is it's extremely portable, and we've been able to deploy this at more than 10 sites within Australia, and each one requiring less than 1 day of consulting. Thank you very much.